Good morning, guys. So I'm just going to take a minute to get everything set up. I'm going to share it on Instagram. Hi guys, hi Instagram. So we've got Instagram going and I'm just going to share it from my computer. So looks like we're working. So if you guys are on here, go grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. I'm going to chat. I'm thinking at least half an hour. I've got quite a few things I want to share, maybe even up to like 45 minutes. So hopefully you guys enjoy this talk today. This is a new thing that we're doing, that I'm going to be doing every Thursday at 10, with the exception of if we're away, if we're visiting family, things like that. Our lighting's not as good. I love it when the sun is shining. It's way better lighting. Say hi if you're on there. Actually, Facebook isn't too bad. I'm wondering if there's a way, can I put, I don't want to screw this up, on Instagram, I can't do a filter on live, can I? Because that would be kind of awesome. I thought that you used to be able to, but anyway, so I'm going to share this to the membership, Mama Recharge membership community, so that it gets seen a little bit more. I know that with Facebook and Instagram as well, you might not be seeing everything, all the posts. So if you comment, say hi, you're more likely to catch the posts. So let me see if I can find us on here, if it'll show up. So yeah, I've got a good topic today. So today is all about routines and habits. Last week I spoke a little bit about my routines, mostly my night routine and how important sleep is. So these are things that are going to create a ripple effect. If you are if you're wanting to make changes in your life, if you're wanting to feel better, you want to start eating better, but you're struggling with that, these things will help you. They'll help to create ripples. They'll help to create structure. So number one, what I talked about last week is, so hold on, I just have to share this to a group. Community. Okay, so I think I've got all the things going. Actually, before I continue with my thought from before, Mama Recharge community, if you're not in there as well, we had some really good conversations the last few days, the last week I think it was. Some people, it's a safe place to ask questions, and that's actually before the one mom asked her question. She said, this is a safe place because it is. I can filter in who comes in. It's all just moms, just like you, just like you and I. You can ask questions. It's not going to show up. You know how sometimes you worry if you post something in somebody's wall or in somebody's group, it's going to show up in somebody else's feed. It's only going to show up in the feed of the people in Mama Recharge community, which it's a fairly small group. It's a couple hundred people, I think, which it makes it feel small because we're all kind of the same, going through the same struggles. So if you're not in there, type in Mama Recharge community on Facebook in the Facebook search bar. Go in there anytime you have questions. Sometimes I'll share different recipes. Sometimes I'll share just sort of like what's going on in our life, sort of an Insta story style, and then we have a conversation about it. So yeah, last week I realized, and I've realized this before, often when I share my story, people will say like, I'm struggling with the same thing. I feel the exact same way. So it reminds me of the struggles you guys are going through. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, a little bit about what I personally do on a daily basis, what has worked for me. Some of these things, a lot of these things I personally try to fit in right now and I'm doing them. Some of the things I really want to get back to because I've seen in the past they've made such a huge change in my life. So I'll go over that. Let's see. Actually, maybe I'll start with a couple of quotes. So a few weeks ago, there's one of my mentors had a talk. And I took a lot of inspiration from that. Her routine, so she was talking about rituals in her life. Hers related a little bit more about business and get going further in business. But I thought this would be such a good topic for you guys. Talk about the routines that help to create a ripple effect in my life in terms of health, my energy, my happiness. So I'll start with a couple quotes. One was actually from my mentor. Our day reflects our life. What we do on an average day is how our life will be. So this is I changed this up a little bit. So these daily habits and routines are important. You might not think those little things, maybe the little thing that you do or whatever you do in the first half hour of your day might not make that much of a difference, but those little things are things that usually we'll do every single day, especially the morning routine and the night routine. Generally, it is almost every single day we do the exact same thing. So if you can change just one minor thing or a couple minor things in your morning, in the evening, that makes a huge difference. And when you change one minor thing in the morning or in the evening, that has a ripple effect often, and then you'll change something else and something else. So these are important. Another quote, I can't remember who this is by, but you'll never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. So success could mean business success, financial success, but it could also mean just success in your health, in changing your diet, in your energy, if that's weight loss for you, success in that, success in whatever area you want success in. So starting with that, grab a cup of coffee. I love our coaching calls in the membership. We do a monthly coaching call, and they go so well. I'm always so relaxed, and it just feels like a conversation. And then when I get on here, for some reason, I have to like slow it down a bit. I can see my husband is watching. He's downstairs. That's distracting me a little bit. He's downstairs with my daughter right now. So my little guy's at preschool. My daughter's got a bit of a cold, so she stayed home this morning. I've got a little bit of a cold. So some of these habits, I've given myself a little bit of a break this past week or so, which is one note. Don't push yourself if you're fighting off something. There's certain stages, certain times where you need to just kind of like chill a little bit and just relax. So for me, I've just, like with the exercise, I'll talk about with my morning routine, I haven't been quite as focused on that this past week. It's been more, I need to just kind of chill a little bit more if I can. So, but with that being said, if you are sort of in a chronic state of just not feeling good, maybe you're feeling like this all the time, and that's how I felt 5 or 6 years ago, even 10 years ago. I kind of felt that way. I was just tired, drained, sore. That was a chronic state for me. If you're in a chronic state of that, then making some of these shifts is important. But if you're in a stage of a couple of days of like sickness and all that, then give yourself a break. So I also wonder if I should just kind of give you, anybody that's new here, maybe I'll talk for just a minute about my story. I've shared it quite a bit, but I'll just kind of give you a little bit of an idea of why I'm doing what I do, why I'm passionate about it. So probably at least 10, even more than that, 10, 15 years ago, starting in my like mid 20s, I'd say, I started to kind of just like not feel great, and it just kind of progressively got worse and worse. It was just kind of a slow progression. And it's so hard to describe, and usually I just say like, and a lot of people describe it this way, I just kind of feel like crap, or just I don't feel great. And it's almost worse for it to be like that, because it's just overall like everything just kind of like feels like crap. It's nothing in particular that you can go take to your doctor. It's not like, it's not like my arm is broken or I am vomiting a whole bunch every single day. So we kind of just like brush it under the rug, sweep it under the rug, and just continue on with our day. But every week, every month, every year, things just get a little bit worse. And so this was before I had kids. It started to kind of get worse and worse. A lot of you have told me that once you had kids, then everything changed and you just felt like crap. You were tired, low energy. Maybe that's migraines, headaches, acne. Like so much stuff changes once you have kids. It takes a huge toll on your body. Pregnancy takes a toll. A lot of you have multiple kids. That takes a bigger toll. We start to lack vitamin and minerals in our body. That like depletes us. Pregnancy and the stress that comes with childbirth and that first year with baby, it's exhausting, it's draining, it's amazing, but it also takes a huge toll on you. You've been through a lot, and it changes a lot inside of you. So now is a time to get your energy back, get your health back, get your life back. This stage with your little ones, I've said this quote a lot: this stage in your life is way too precious to go through it feeling exhausted and tired. I don't want you to have your kids turn 18 and realize that you just felt like crap, you were just sick, you were just tired the entire time. Or I don't want your kids to turn 10 and you look back and say, like, those first few years of their life, I was just so drained. Like, I wish I could have spent more time with them. I wish I could have lived a little more during that time. So that's partly why I'm so passionate about this. I don't want you to waste that time. You don't have to continue on feeling exhausted. So back to my story a little bit. I continued to get worse and worse. I had my daughter. She's 6.5 right now. I had my daughter, and things just got a lot worse after I had her. She was a colicky baby, so I think the stress of it also was really hard, took a toll on me. The lack of sleep, she did not sleep. I remember when she was 3 weeks old, because I tell the story a lot, so I remember exactly. Was she 3 weeks old? Yeah. She was 3 weeks old, and I remember phoning. I didn't, was she? Yeah. Anyways, we'll go with that. I think she was around 3 weeks old, and I remember phoning the doctor and saying she slept, in the past 24 hours, she slept for 6 hours total, and that was probably like 45-minute increments at the most. So she was my first baby. I didn't know what was normal. Like with my second baby, I would realize, like, wow, I would have contacted them way earlier. So they got me in. They're like, okay, we'll get you in on the doctor's lunch break. This could be serious. At that point, I'm kind of naive to all the things that could happen to babies at that age if there's anything going wrong. He just said she's colicky. You know, he was a great doctor, but they just were like, yeah, she's colicky. She's growing, she's thriving, but she's colicky. So we continued on for the 3 months were so hard. A lot of you moms can probably relate to this. So hard, those 3 months. Even I remember counting down the days. Like, it was so amazing being a mom, but so hard. And I remember counting down the days, people saying like 3 months, okay, I think at first it was like, okay, 6 weeks, I make it to 6 weeks, and then it's going to start getting easier. Like, you Google it, and that's what they say. And then 3 months, okay, once she hits 3 months, then the colickiness is supposed to be over. And it didn't magically disappear. It was, I think by the time she was 6 months, she was a really good baby. It was fun. It was, a lot easier. But anyways, I'm off track a little bit, but I think that was a part of, even if you have a good baby, pregnancy, childbirth, adjusting to a new baby, the busyness of that takes a toll on us. So with all that said, that's a little bit of my story. Actually, I didn't really finish my story. She was close to a year old. So 5.5 years ago, I decided to really dive in and say, this is crazy. I'm going to make changes. I think I went to the doctor a few times, had blood work done, and actually, this was sort of a critical point. I had the blood work done, and I'm ready to make changes. I need to see what's going on. And then I get the phone call from his nurse saying everything looks normal, in a happy voice. And that would be really exciting to hear, but it was just sort of frustrating because there was nothing after that. It was just everything looks normal. Okay, bye. And I remember saying, well, what do I do next? I don't feel normal. And I've heard from a lot of moms too. You've had this as well. You've heard that, and it's just, it's good to hear, but it's so frustrating to hear because you go, there's no direction after that. So this is where we need to get empowered. We need to empower ourselves, do research. People joke about Dr. Google all the time, but there's a lot of flawed information online as well. And usually you can kind of filter through that. There's so much. You can become an expert. This lighting is really bad. You can become an expert on whatever's going on. Sometimes you can know even more than your doctor. If you've got a particular issue and you're researching it, you're experimenting, you can become an expert on it. So it's time to get empowered, to take matters into your own hands. You don't always just need a pill. Sometimes a pill can help. You don't always just need a pill. Diet and lifestyle changes are huge. So I want you to feel empowered. Today I think maybe another day I'll dive a little bit more into my story, the changes I made. So essentially I made changes in my diet. I cut out certain foods to test to see if those were bothering me. Ended up being that those were huge. I personally started with one food at a time. Ashton was so colicky, and I heard that dairy, she was breastfeeding as well, so I heard that dairy was could be a big issue for colickiness. So I cut dairy out first. So it was kind of in stages in that way a little bit. So I got used to no cheese, no yogurt. I used to live off of cheese, yogurt, bread, like peanut butter, toast, Cheerios. So that's gluten and dairy was all I lived off of, which is possibly partly why I have issues with those foods now. And then so a few different stages, cutting out different foods, focusing, learning more on highly nourishing foods and how that's going to help my energy and help to sort of like stabilize, balance things out in my body. And all of that made a massive difference. It might not be as quick as taking a pill. Sometimes it is super quick. If you've got huge gluten issues, some people within a few days notice big changes. But in general, getting to the root of the issue, making these diet and lifestyle changes takes a little more time, but it's so worth it. And instead of just masking a symptom, which is going to cause other symptoms, which is a lot of pharmaceuticals do that, you are getting to the root of the issue. You are calming things down inside your body. When you calm things down and you calm down the inflammation, whatever's going on, then your body can naturally work to heal itself. It works on itself. So especially when you're in your 30s, if you're 80, then I'm a little bit more for that pill. If you are in your 30s, you've got so much life to live. I want you to work on having a healthy body, getting to the root of the issue. So hopefully that helped you guys. I didn't plan on talking about that, but I kind of find the best chats sometimes are when I just can dive into a story like that. So hopefully you guys relate to that. I hope you don't relate to that story. Hopefully you guys aren't going through all that. I know a lot of you are, so I want you to know that you're not alone in feeling that way. Also, a lot of you are feeling overwhelmed with making these changes. When you have kids, one kid, multiple kids, maybe you're a stay-at-home mom with the busyness of that. Maybe you are a working mom with kids and the busyness of that. We can so easily get stuck into our habits and our routines, and that's the biggest thing is to break those habits and routines. So that's why I wanted to chat a little bit more about that today. So let's see if I have missed anything. So like I said, last week I talked a little bit about my night routine, why sleep is so important. So I'll come back to that just for a minute. That's probably number one. I know if you have a baby in its first year, the sleep thing can be hard. Do the best you can. Know that it's not going to last forever. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my morning routine and having time to myself in the morning. If you've got a little one that's waking up multiple times a night, don't stress about that at this stage. If they're sleeping decently, you might want to try doing this because this can really help. But focus number one is on sleep. So try to get to bed. Number one, try to get to bed early. So many of us, so let's use the example. You've got a baby that is, say your baby's 5 months old. It's up multiple times in the night. And your only break is you put the baby to bed maybe baby goes to bed at 7, maybe baby goes to bed at 8, 9 o'clock. So your only break, or even when your last kid goes to bed, maybe it's like 9 o'clock, and you just want to wind down and you just want to watch Netflix. Or you just want to sit and scroll Facebook. That's not the worst thing, and sometimes that's needed just to kind of like numb out a little bit. But what I've found is getting to bed earlier. So Easton is 3 years old right now. Since he's been born, I have, for the most part, I put him to bed, I put Ashton to bed, and then I get to bed soon after. And that works really well for us. So sometimes I'll do this where I'll stay up and scroll Facebook or watch TV or watch a movie or something. And that doesn't really recharge me at all. It can be nice in the moment where it's just, you just need that time to like relax. But I find it's just as relaxing I personally like to put on a podcast on my phone, put my headphones in, and then I'll go to bed. listen to that podcast, and I go to bed early. So I find that's more recharging, doing that, getting to bed early. And then when I get to bed early enough, I naturally, especially now that I've been doing this for a while, I naturally wake up earlier than the kids. Sometimes it's 5 o'clock, sometimes it's 5:30, sometimes it's 6:30. They generally wake up at 7:30. Easton's pretty good at getting up at 7:30. Ashton, she would get up earlier if she could, but probably a year and a half ago we did the Grow, I think it's called the Grow clock, where it's got like the sun and the moon, and you set it for a certain time. So at 7:30, at nighttime it's got the moon and the stars, and it shows how many stars are left until she can wake up. So it kind of counts down, and then when she can wake up, it turns to the sun. So that is really helpful too. So it kind of trains her body to sleep until 7:30. But I know that I've got that morning time to myself, which is huge. If those kids were waking up with me at 6 o'clock, 6:30 every day, my mindset would be so different. My life would be a lot different, which I'll dive into this a little bit more in my morning routine. So that's huge. So back to my point is, I find it's way more recharging when you want to get the kids to bed and you want to just sit and watch Netflix or go on the computer. I find it's so much more recharging just getting to bed early, especially now. If you could have done that, if I had this talk right when we did that time change, it would have been a lot easier because you could have kind of kept your same schedule. But getting to bed early, it gets dark so early, so it's a little bit easier, and then get up early. And another thing, perk to that, if you stay up for an extra hour at night, most likely, if you're anything like me, you want to eat cereal, you want to eat bread, chips. You don't want to drink a smoothie, or, you just want like refined carbs. But if you get up an hour early, generally your mindset's a lot better. You're more energized. You want to have a smoothie, or you want your coffee and your healthy homemade protein bar, which is what I love to have. So just by that fact, you're going to lose weight. You're going to feel better because you're cutting out all that crap. Another point I talked about last week was at night when you're craving those carbs, give me a thumbs up or a high five if that's you. If you crave carbs and it's just, you just have to have carbs at night. If that's your struggle, if you do good all day and then you just need carbs at night, let me know if that's a struggle. I think that's a struggle for a lot of you. That's a struggle for me. That's your body telling you it needs sleep. So often when we're lacking sleep, so say you didn't have a good night's sleep, you just want to eat carbs all day long. So that's kind of a signal. Your body wants you to go to sleep. When you eat carbs, it induces, I know it induces serotonin. I'm not sure if it also induces melatonin and things like that, but it's trying to get you sleepy, get you relaxed so that you'll go to sleep. So listen to that. If you get to bed early enough, then you won't be craving those carbs as much. And you might think, okay, well, I'm just switching my routine. I'm staying up as long. I'm still staying up for the same amount of hours if I'm getting up earlier. But I find there's a difference. If I get to bed by 9:30, then I don't crave those carbs as much as if I was up till 10:30. So yeah, last week I talked about my sleep routine. You can probably scroll back and see that video if you want a little bit more information on sleep routine, tips on getting a better sleep, and all that. So scroll back. Now I'll talk about my morning routine, what I do right now, what I've done in the past. I've noticed that I'm not always super consistent with all of these different things. I started doing this morning routine when Ashton was about a year old, and it made a huge change in my life. So I've continued with parts of it. If I can get back to doing it fully, I know that it makes such a big difference. So I'll talk a little bit about that first. So I'm going to be sharing with you a lot of different routines, a lot of different things you can add into your day. If you think, okay, I want to try doing all of these things, that can be so overwhelming. So just pick and choose just pick one thing or two things. If you're wanting to make some changes, then I recommend just pick one or two things that you want to try out and see if that sort of makes a ripple effect. Try to focus on that one thing, try to commit to that, see if it makes a ripple effect for you. So I'm going to be sharing a whole lot. It can be overwhelming, but I just like to share all the different things that can help. and you can kind of pick, customize that to what you like. Also, I would love to know if you have a routine, if that's morning routine, night routine, during the day, something that you've changed that has really helped you. So that sharing that can really help a lot of other people. I would love to know. Maybe I'll try it out as well. I can be accountability partner too for you. So share that, even just share what you're doing, whether that's drinking a glass of water in the morning every day. Share what you are doing, what's working. So I know of a lot of you guys that are in the Mama Recharge community are doing really, really well, have some really good habits in place. So share that with us would be awesome. So speaking of water in the morning, that's my number one thing. This is what I've been doing since Ashton's been about a year old. I've been doing this every single day. I'm not sure if there's been a day where I haven't done this. I used to wake up and I would go straight for the coffee. And that's kind of what most of us just kind of crave most. We wake up in the morning, go straight for that cup of coffee. But it's so important to rehydrate your body. That water in the morning, first thing, it's absorbed a lot better. And being dehydrated is a huge issue overall in our health, in our energy. So if you can focus on getting in a full glass of water. They say that room temperature water is best. You might think, okay, I want a really cold glass of water. I'm gonna throw some ice in. That's most refreshing. But I think I'm not sure the exact reasoning behind this, but it seems to be that we absorb the water a lot better if it's room temperature. So even a little bit warmed up, you could do that if you kind of want, if it's a little bit more comforting to do like half, I've done this before too, half room temperature water or half cold water, and then half boiled water. So it's like a little bit of a warm tea, then that can help too. So I've always committed to a full glass of water. Sometimes I just really want that coffee right away, so I just chug that water and then I get to my coffee. It's best if you can leave like at least 15 minutes to half an hour to let that water get into your system first, but I generally have my water and then my coffee right away. Something I've recently been doing is I'll put some sea salt in that water. I actually enjoy the taste. I think it goes down a little bit better with some sea salt, but more importantly, it's to replenish those minerals in your body. So you can get depleted of minerals. You can take a vitamin and mineral supplement, which is great, which I take as well. But just sea salt, just pure sea salt, pink Himalayan sea salt is what I use. I think the number is 84 minerals in there. So just putting a sprinkle of sea salt in there can really help. I go in spurts, especially when we're cleansing, when we're doing our 7-day cleanse. I'll do some apple cider vinegar in my water or some lemon, a squeeze of like a half a lemon, which is really alkalizing to the body. It's detoxifying. You get that vitamin C in there, which probably could have been good. I'm fighting a cold a little bit, which probably is good at this point, or even around cold and flu season, getting some extra vitamin C. But I don't do that all the time. So figure out what you like best. There's a lot of health benefits to apple cider vinegar, but the number one thing is just to get that water in, even if that's just pure filtered water, to get that in. So I would say that's a must do. So in the morning, what do I eat? Another thing in my morning routine is important is that I don't want to, especially if I'm getting up early, getting up before the kids, I don't want to be having to think about looking in the fridge and thinking about like, okay, what do I want to eat now? What am I going to make? So for me, I'm a person of habit with my food as well. I don't really get sick of one thing too quickly. So this is a lot easier. There's also such a thing as willpower fatigue and decision-making fatigue. So if you can have 1 or 2 breakfasts that are your go-tos, you wake up in the morning, you just go and grab it, you know what you're having. You don't have to use any decision making or willpower. Then that's a lot better. So start your morning like that. I personally I'll have my glass of water. Then I have my black coffee. I do half decaf, half regular. I noticed that I think caffeine has always affected me, even before kids, because I would sit and drink 2 cups of coffee with no food or anything. I'd drink that in the morning. I'd get super wound up and then I would just crash. So it can increase your blood sugar. It can affect your adrenals as well. And then once I had Ashton, I pretty much had to go to straight decaf for a while. It might have been partly because I was pretty much off coffee when I was pregnant with her, so my body got used to that. But I think it's also because pregnancy, childbirth, having babies takes a toll on your adrenals. So many women have adrenal issues. So you might have noticed after having kids, you don't handle coffee as well. Maybe you get more jittery, maybe you get moody, irritable. So I switched to half decaf, make sure it's Swiss water decaf, and then half regular coffee. And I always make sure I eat something with my coffee now. So maybe I'm the type of person, maybe I do better with no coffee or very limited coffee, but I love it so much. And it does give me some energy. I feel good with it. So I keep it in. So I will have my coffee, and I'll have a peanut butter protein bar. Sometimes I switch it up and we'll do like a pumpkin seed protein bar, a almond butter protein bar. So I've got the recipe. I can put the recipe in the comments after this. It's been my favorite for a long time, and it's so easy. It's super quick to make. It's like 5 minutes to make. It has protein powder, peanut butter, or whatever nut and seed butter you want, a little bit of almond milk or whatever milk, even Waterworks in that. And what else is in there? Peanut butter, protein powder, coconut, a little bit of coconut flour. You can switch that up with even just coconut or almond flour, I believe works as well. So yeah, super easy. That's my go-to. I can just grab my coffee. I can even get everything set up the night before if I wanted to, so that I'm super quiet. Then I go downstairs. I've got a quiet area. It's sort of like inspiring. I've put like inspiring photos around it. So it's kind of my spot. There's no toys. There's nothing else. If you don't have a certain spot like that, I used it when I first started this morning routine. I would just go to the basement. First I think I was in sort of like the living room area in the basement. I had like a nice little quiet setup where I knew I wasn't going to wake up anybody else. And then after I sort of created an office, we had a half unfinished basement. So I created like a little office. It was next to my washer and dryer, but I had my inspiring photos. I had my like nice lighting. I had my salts rock lamp. So it was just such a peaceful little spot. So if you can create that for yourself, a designated little area, wherever that is, if it's beside your washer and dryer, that it's so nice to have that, and that helps you to create that routine and that habit. And as soon as you get into that room, you're just kind of like in a different state of mind and you're just relaxed. So yeah, that's water, coffee, food. Other ideas in the morning, if you like a smoothie, if you're up early and you want to have a smoothie, you don't want to wake people up, you can I've put my blender in the garage before, but even then it might wake them up. So you could do your smoothie up the night before. If you're going to do it the night before and have it sit for a few hours, then I recommend putting it in like a mason jar, filling it up to the very top so there's really no air in there or minimal air. It'll stay fresher that way. Seal it, because when you have a lot of air in there, it oxidizes it. So you can do that. I personally I don't crave a smoothie first thing in the morning. I like a smoothie later on in the day quite often, but and also if you crave more of a meal in the morning, that's fine. But a lot of us just either don't really feel like eating at all, or we just want something little. So I just eat like a little bit of a protein bar, homemade protein bar, and then mid-morning I'm craving more of a meal. So this works out good for me. I'm a stay-at-home mom, work-at-home mom, so I can do that. If you head to work at 8 or 9 o'clock, this may or may not work, doing this type of routine if you just kind of have like a protein bar in the morning or a smoothie in the morning. But I guess if you have a coffee break, if you can, like, why not have like a lunch or a heartier meal at your coffee break? I guess you have to eat it a little bit quicker, but so that's personally what I crave. I listen to my body a little bit too. So sometimes my mid-morning snack will be, I call it like a pan scrambler or breakfast scramble, where it is some sort of greens, usually spinach that I have in my fridge. I'll check out what I have for leftovers, whatever protein I have for leftovers. An egg is really good. I have an egg intolerance, so I don't do that. But if you can do sort of this breakfast scramble and then put a fried egg on top, it's so good. So sometimes that will be, if I had potatoes the night before, I'll chop those up and put it in a frying pan with some coconut oil, whatever veggies, if I've got like peppers, what else, even spaghetti squash I've thrown in the frying pan. the trick is just to throw it all in a frying pan with some coconut oil, saute it up, add in some greens at the end. Greens are so good for your body, for the nutrients, alkalizing, and then have some protein in there. So fried egg is awesome. If you've got some bacon, if you've got even some chicken, sometimes I'll do that. So that's personally what I love quite often. Sometimes I will have a mid-morning smoothie. So just listen to your body, what you're craving. So I've got a few more things, actually quite a few more things I want to say. So probably be here at least another 15, 20 minutes. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this. If you're watching the replay, hopefully maybe you are preparing your supper and watching this as well, because I know we're all busy. Don't always have an hour to sit and be on Facebook. So the next thing, I'll actually take it back to my morning. So I generally like to have like an hour in the morning to myself is ideal. And I don't wake up to an alarm clock anymore because I've sort of trained my body. So if you want to start doing this, maybe you'll start with that alarm clock. But if you can get to bed early enough, I think your body will start to get trained into that you'll just naturally wake up. And that's the best way to wake up. Sometimes if you wake up from a dream or something, then I find that I'm just like extra tired. You wake up at the wrong sleep stage where it's best if your body can naturally wake up that right stage of sleep. So yeah, I naturally wake up. So that varies a little bit. Usually I have at least a half an hour. Sometimes that's up to an hour and a half in the morning. So usually if I have that much time, I'll get doing work like on my computer and stuff in the morning. But so I'll take it back to that first hour. Let's say even if you only have 15 minutes, I recommend you start doing this. So let's say you have like half an hour to an hour to yourself in the morning. So get up, this is what I do, get my coffee, my protein bar. I sit down in my quiet space, my inspiring space, get in that right mindset. What I love to do, and I go back and forth on this, sometimes I'm just like, I'm too busy, I'm going to get straight to doing my work in the morning. But I noticed that when I do a gratitude journal, I've talked about this before, I've been doing this off and on for since Ashton was about 2, so about 4 years ago, and it's made a huge difference. And I was really strict with this in the beginning, and it's huge. So especially with being a mom, you might find that you are like the busyness of the day. Your day is all about just like you wake up and you're tending to your kids all day. You're tending to your kids. You go to bed, and you can start to lose that sort of like happiness and that gratitude and that excitement for life when it's just monotonous. It's so easy, especially if there's nothing. I found I was in this state, so my life was pretty good. Everything is really good. It's hard, it's busy. Like I'm thinking back when my kids were just little, or at any stage. So it can be hard, it's busy. You can just kind of get stuck in the routines. Your focus is always on the kids. It's never really for yourself. So getting back to that gratitude journal, like I had nothing really to complain about in my life, but I wasn't feeling that gratitude. So when I started doing a gratitude journal, which is, there's a few different ways to do this, but simply just having a notebook, having a piece of paper, writing it down. You can think about it in your head, but it doesn't have the same effect as if you're writing it down. So write down at least 3 things that you're grateful for. So some people do this at night before bed. I find in the morning is best to get yourself in that right mindset. So 3 to 5 things, jot that down what you're grateful for. And it's important to take it a step further. Instead of just saying, like, you wake up, it's your routine, I'm grateful for my house that I have, I'm grateful for my kids, I'm grateful for whatever. You can easily just kind of write that, but you don't really feel it. So this is another part of it. And this might seem like kind of woo-woo, and I kind of thought that in the beginning, but it's actually huge. I think there is some science behind it that I don't really know how to explain it, but actually sort of feeling those emotions. So if you want to say like, oh, I'm grateful for my kids. So like kind of think about like, I'm so grateful for my kids. Sometimes I'll even just, instead of putting that, I'll even elaborate so that I start to like feel that gratitude, actually feel it. So I don't want, if you guys are thinking like, wow, that sounds stupid. That's so woo woo. Don't brush it off. Try it out. Try it out for at least a week, maybe a month if you can. when I really dive into this and make this a focus, I'll notice during the day, and it's not, some people might say like, oh, your heads are, or your head is in the clouds, you know, it's, everything's roses. It's not like that. It's just that you, instead of focusing on, like if you're kind of in a bad mindset, you might be focusing on like, oh, like, why did this happen? Why did this happen? You know, it seems like everything's happening, all these little things are going wrong. Even if it's just a minor thing, like you spill some of your food on the floor. It's like, oh, again, like, why is this always happening? You are in the opposite mindset. You are stuck. Your mindset is focused. Your subconscious, I guess it is focused on that, on everything going wrong. So if we can train it the other way, where you are focusing, you can still notice the bad things, and everything doesn't have to be roses and rainbows and butterflies. But if your subconscious is trained to really notice, pay attention to those good things. Like if somebody pays you a compliment, you might just forget about it right away. If somebody insults you, that's stuck in your head, right? So this is kind of the same idea. If you have something, even if it's the smallest thing, something that goes really good, or something that you like really enjoy, if that's the sun shining, feeling the heat of the sun on you, and you don't, your subconscious doesn't notice it, but if you drop your bowl on the floor and it splashes, you know, then you really notice that. So we need to retrain that. It makes a massive difference. So it's not just changing your mindset in the morning. The more you do this, you'll notice that it changes your life, which sounds like an extreme statement. It's huge. So I personally go in spurts of doing this. Like right now I'm in a stage where it's like every third day I'll write it down, which even helps. But I notice when I go in those spurts of making it a priority, this is part of my routine. I wake up, have my coffee, do this, write my gratitude journal. It makes a big difference in my mindset. So many of us moms are going through the day just kind of like, you know, not really loving life, even though there's so much good that's going on. So many of us as moms notice all the little annoyances that our kids are doing, or the frustrations that it brings. I get in that stage too, which is partly why I preach this so much, because I need this so much as well myself, the whole gratitude thing. So it can really change a lot of things for you. And that, again, like I said in the topic, the description of this, that has a ripple effect. So that can, when you're happier, you're more likely to eat better, you're more likely to, I don't know, exercise. So that's number one. This is ending up being kind of a long talk, so I'll try to get a little bit quicker with this. So gratitude journal is huge. Drinking water in the morning is huge. Another thing that I'm such a list taker. I love to-do lists. I love a schedule. Even when I had my daughter, I was a stay-at-home mom. I wasn't working. I got a journal, or not a journal, like a planner. Because I love to, if I can write something down that needs to be done at a certain point, it can get it out of my brain. You know, I don't always have to remember it. It's written down, so I don't have to focus on that. But also, it sort of is, so even when I just had my daughter, I was at home with her, I would write sort of to-do lists in there. I would sort of jot out what I wanted to get done that day. So that's sort of setting intentions for your day, and that can be huge as well. So I sometimes I do this, sometimes I don't. So right now I'm busy with different work things, so that kind of takes focus. But if I really want to focus on my health, my eating, my happiness, doing things with my kids, then I'd write these things out a little bit more. So if I'm trying to make changes in my diet, I want to clean up my diet, I want to do a little bit better, feel a little bit better, then I would write down, in my planner, I've got like 3 different sections. So in the bottom section, this is for each day, I would write down like smoothie, salad. I'd write down my supper that I have planned for that day. And also I'm gonna mention about 2 every week, what I do. Part of that is my meal planning. So then I also break it down into, in the morning. So I have that intention. I know what I'm going to have. I kind of think about like, oh, maybe I'll try to have like some veggies and hummus, or an apple with peanut butter. I think I did write down some different ideas. Okay, so for food, I was going to talk about this later, but so for food, I try to fit in. Actually, I'll take it a step back. One thing, we actually had this discussion in the Mom Recharge community just a couple days ago. One of the moms made a really good statement about this. Focus more on what you're adding in and not what you can't have. So it's important. If you are focusing on what you can't have, then you're going to think about that more. It's going to be so much harder. Focus more on what you can fill into your day. So this is part of my morning routine when I really want to make a change to my diet. I'll write down in the morning, I want to make sure I have a smoothie today. I want to make sure I have, maybe it's a salad, like a big salad with like some protein and maybe a little bit of carbs, some nuts and seeds on there, like a really hearty salad. Maybe it is a soup that I have left over. Maybe it's supper leftovers I'm going to have at lunch. Maybe I want to fit in some veggies, some raw veggies into my snack, so that whether that is veggies and guacamole, veggies and hummus, celery with peanut butter and raisins. So those are a few ways that I try to get in more vegetables. A healthy supper, so I kind of know what my supper plan is going to be. I can bring out some meat from the freezer if I need to. I'm going to have some fruit each day. So focus, if you can focus on that, maybe write down a few things. My top ones, usually when I do this, it's like, okay, I'm going to have a smoothie. So that you can check that off. Even, I don't always check it off, but just writing it down in the morning. You are, I don't know what the percentage is, but you are way more likely to actually do that if you sat and you wrote that down. So if you can do that, or maybe that's water. I'm going to have 6 glasses of water today. I'm going to put a jug out, if you write that down. So that's still part of my morning routine. So I schedule, I get organized. So I think about what I want my day to look like. This is important too. This seems a little bit woo-woo, but this is sort of setting an intention. And it's been shown to really work. So instead of doing like affirmations, visualization, which are huge as well, actually I should link to it's called the Miracle Morning. This is where I first started with my morning routine. There's an entire sort of protocol where they call it the savers. So it's silence, which is like meditation or just kind of like being with your thoughts. Affirmations. So I changed it up a little bit. Affirmations, visualization, exercise, R is reading, and S is script or writing things down. So anyways, that's where I started from, and I've changed things. So I'll give you my version of the Miracle Morning. But if you want to look at that, search Miracle Morning. I believe it's the Miracle Morning on Facebook. There's a huge community of people doing this and have changed their life, but just by changing their morning routine. So anyways, so instead of doing the visualization, which could be huge, I just haven't really got to that point. I've done it in the past, but I just, so affirmations, visualization, I sort of set intentions by just with my schedule. Sometimes if I really want to focus on doing more, like being more present with my kids, doing things with them, then I'll sort of like think about how do I want my day to look? I want to play with them and do this. I want to do this craft with them, or with the eating part. That's sort of like setting, visualizing a little bit how you want your day to go with if you're writing down, I'm going to have a smoothie today. I'll write down like I want to get in a workout. So actually that leads me to the exercise part of it. I've gone back and forth. Oh yeah, that's a good one. So Danielle says, great book. Check out Girl, Go Wash Your Face as well. I haven't checked out the book. I love her. I've checked out some of her videos. And I get, even right now, just thinking about it, I get goosebumps. She's so inspiring. So I'll have to check out that book. Thanks for the suggestion. I do better with audiobooks. So I'll have to get the audiobook. I like listening to something when I go to bed. So yeah, we'll check that out. So where was I at? I got super excited about that for a second. She's amazing. Yeah, I'm going to check her out. I'll have to follow her. I can't remember. If you know her name, post that as well. I'll have to check her out on Facebook. I can't remember what her name is. But I'm sure she's got a Facebook page with some more inspiring videos. So where was I at? Oh, with workouts. Okay, so now to exercise. That's another daily routine that has a ripple effect as well that I want to talk about. You can, add this into your morning routine, and this is, you're way more likely because the things that we do in the morning are generally more stay the same every day. So if you say like, oh, I'm gonna work out at 4 o'clock every day, usually our 4 o'clock looks different often from day to day. You know, we can get doing other things. Your 6 a.m. or your 7 a.m. usually looks the same from day to day. So if you really want to get in a workout, you know what, even a 15-minute workout, you guys probably know I love the Tone It Up girls. They've got, if you YouTube it, they've got a ton of like free workouts that are like 15-20 minutes. So I've done that for years. Right now I actually dusted off my Turbo Jam DVD, Chalene Johnson Turbo Jam I used to do that like 15 years, maybe 10 years ago. And I got in really good shape. I would do that like almost every night. And it is a 25 or 30 minute video. I love it because it's so like choreographed that it's like you forget about how hard you're working out because you're like focusing on getting the moves right. So I've been doing that the last few weeks. People will say like, okay, weightlifting is best for you. There's certain types of exercises are best. I encourage you to find whatever you are most likely to stick with. If you love, for me, I don't want to go to a gym. If I have to go to a gym and take that time to like get ready, to drive, to warm up the car, I'm not going to do it. Some people love that, and that's their happy place is and getting away from the kids and things like that is getting to the gym. Figure out what works for you. So for me, that's like a video at home. If you have a treadmill, we used to have a treadmill. I love to do that. So yes, it might be true that adding in weight-bearing exercise is a lot better. You build muscle mass, but do whatever. I find I can get in really good shape with like the Tone It Up workouts or the Turbo Jam workouts, which has a little bit of strength training mixed in there, but just do what works for you. If that's getting outside, even in the winter for a run or a walk, do that. So figure out what's going to work for you, what you enjoy, what you'll stick with, and do that. Don't worry about if it's cardio, if it's weight training. Just try to work up a bit of a sweat. Even if you're starting out and just like, I shouldn't say just yoga because yoga is awesome as well. Fit yoga into your day if you love that, whatever it is. If you guys have, let me know if you have what's your workout? Does anybody do like the Beachbody workouts? Do you do certain YouTube workouts? Do you go to the gym? I'd love to know what you guys are doing. I used to do, I should not ramble so much, but I used to do, when Easton was in his first year, we used to have like dance parties. So sometimes you can't, when you've got little kids, you can't fit in a workout. So I used to incorporate that in with them. So we would put music on. Usually this would be like before supper. We kind of had a routine and we'd put music on, and Beachbody on Demand, Danielle put. You know what? I've been thinking about trying that out. So I'm going to check and see if there's any Black Friday deals, because I do love the Turbo Jam. So I'll check that out. But I used to just put on some music, and Easton was in his carrier, or I just hold him. That added some extra weight. And my daughter was, at that point, she was like 3-4 years old, and she loved dancing. So it was like a fun family thing. We would just dance, like jump around. It was such a good workout, especially when Easton was in a carrier. He loved it too. He would put his head down, and he would often he would fall asleep. So I've got such great memories of that. Great. All the programs are on there. Yeah, I'm going to check that out. So yeah, that I love too. And sometimes I would do, if we weren't doing the dance party, then I would do during the day with my daughter. I would just put him in the carrier, I'd hold him, and I'd do squats. We would sort of like do sort of an obstacle course around the house, especially in the winter when you're stuck in the house. With my daughter, we would run down the hall, we would run around the island and run back. And sometimes, and we take turns, so she got to pick what she wanted to do. So we would skip, probably looked pretty goofy, but it was fun, and she had so much fun, and it was a workout. So just however you can incorporate that in. Another thing I love, so this is kind of exercise, this is kind of just overall health. In the winter, I haven't been doing this the past week just because of my cold, and I've been giving myself a bit of a break, but getting outside for a walk. So and I've talked to other people too who found that this made such a huge difference. If your mindset isn't great, if your mood's not great, especially in the winter, if you want to increase your energy, overall health. This is another habit. Just take a sip. This is another habit that can really help. So in the winter, there's the whole seasonal affective disorder. Even if you don't feel like you have that, I think a lot of us have that can have that to some degree. We're stuck indoors so much. So even if it's not sunny, like today, it's kind of a gloomy day, but getting outside with that full spectrum light, I guess it is, even if it's not sunny, just having that light, you'll notice, like say you're inside and you go outside, it's gloomy, it feels bright right away because there's a huge difference in light. I don't know all the science behind it, but just having that light hit your eyeballs has a huge effect on your whole body, on your hormones, everything. So if you want to increase your happiness, number one, gratitude. Number two, get outside for a walk. When it wasn't so cold, I would bundle up Easton, put him in my jogging stroller. He loved that too. This was more last winter. I haven't done it so much this winter. I guess a little bit in the fall we did. And I would go for a walk with him. But ideally, I would try to get up. So the sun, I love getting up when the sun rises. So I'd bundle up. I probably look ridiculous. I've got my, like my faux fur hood, and it's like a tunnel. So you can just see my eyeballs. I put my podcast in. So I'm kind of in my own little world. And I go outside for a walk. The sun's coming up. There's something, it must be I don't know if it's the spectrum of lighting as the sun is just coming up or as the sun is going down, but it just, like, the energy I get from that, the motivation, the happiness that brings, getting out during that sunrise is so nice. So getting out any point of the day, if you can get out for, when it's cold, maybe it's 15 minutes, you can get out for 20, 30 minutes. That makes a big difference. So I'm throwing a lot at you guys, but pick and choose. These are all things that I've found have made huge differences in my day. Yeah, just bundle up if you're going to go outside and try that out as well. So usually I'll either do like a workout. Ideally I would work out or go for a walk like 5 days a week. Some days I don't worry about it, especially like a few days ago. We did an entire day of like setting up Christmas decorations. So I was running around like bringing up bins from the basement. So then I don't worry about fitting in a workout and things like that. What else? I think I had more to talk about, but I don't want to keep you on here too long. So daily, let's see. Oh, yeah. So I'll talk a little bit about, with supper prep, so I'm going to talk about during the day, the things I do that help to have a ripple effect in my routines and all that. So like I said, in the morning, I kind of like plan out I'll have a look at my meal plan and figure out, see what I'm having for supper that night. Or I will just kind of think about like, okay, I got these leftovers, so I'm going to have this. So I kind of have an idea in my head what I'm going to have for supper that night. I also, for meal planning, this is huge if you want to change your diet, set a day. For me, that is like to meal plan. Set a day for me. That's Friday. So with the Mum Recharge membership, we have the new meal plan sent out every Friday. So that's generally when I look at my meal plan for the next week. I know what I'm going to have for that week. Maybe I'll change some things. Sometimes if it's a 7-day plan, I will. You know what? Instagram is going to cut out in 2 minutes. So I'll probably be a few more minutes. If you want to hop on over to Facebook, you can. That will continue. Instagram's going to close out in 2 minutes. So Fridays we post our meal plan. So I have a look at that. If it's a 7-day plan, sometimes I do incorporate leftovers in there already. Sometimes, especially if my husband's working, he's not going to be home for suppers, I'll cut out 1 or 2 of those plans. So it's more like a 5-day plan with some leftovers in there. So I generally only cook supper like every second day. Those opposite days is leftovers, and often that's in the membership that's already structured into the meal plan, or I will just add that in myself. So I don't like to spend a whole lot of time in the kitchen. I like to make it easy for myself. I don't want to waste food, so we enjoy leftovers. So Friday, I look at the plan, kind of have an idea what I'm going to have. Sometimes I would, if I'm going to be getting groceries, sometimes my husband does the grocery shopping. If I'm going to be doing it, I would, this is a nice routine that I did have for a while. Friday night, I would order my groceries on Superstore Click and Collect. On most of our plans in the membership, we have a click and collect list for you. So you can see exactly which product to pick. You can just plug in and put it in, add in whatever else you want for that day or for that week, any extras, and then you click order. Saturday, I would pick it up, or Sunday pick it up, and then Sunday I would do a little bit of meal prep. So sometimes I'd meal prep, sometimes I would just do the prep during the week. Ideally, what I found works best is spending a little bit of time prep on Sunday, washing lettuce, washing veggies. This is the minimum that I usually do. Wash up some fruit if it needs to be washed, and also making like one snack, if that's like a homemade Larabar, a protein bar, just something. So Instagram just cut out. So having something ready for the week for like easy snacks, so that could be for you or for the kids. So that's important. The meal plan. If you want to clean up your diet at all, have a plan, whether you are making your own meal plan. And generally every Sunday, I share the overview picture of what our meal plan looks like in the membership, so that you can get an idea, help get ideas of what to put on your meal plan. Hopefully it helps you, so that's snacks, lunch, breakfast, everything. Or if you feel like you want to have that all done for you, then you can join on the membership. So that's why I post that every Sunday. So getting the routine of that's been huge for me, is having a meal plan. I think that is mostly it. I was going to go in more detail with the food that I eat. I think I'll share that in another week. What I eat. I used to always do what I eat Wednesdays, because that I find is helpful, knowing what other people are eating, getting different ideas. So maybe I'll share that for another week. So every Thursday at 10, I'm planning on doing this. I want to share something huge, which I didn't mention yet. So right now, I'm going to be posting our Black Friday special. I was going to wait till Friday. I'm going to post it right now. So this is huge. And I kind of wondered, is this crazy that and I'm not just saying this, but am I giving this away for too cheap? So, for Black Friday special, it's an entire year in the membership, plus our Mama Recharge Method program. So this program, this is huge for January. We do this 4-week program. It actually turns into a 5-week program, because the 5th week we're reintroducing foods to see if certain foods are problems for you. So with Mama Recharged, that we generally cut out gluten, dairy, sugar, and processed foods as much as possible, because those have been shown, for myself personally and for so many moms, they're energy drainers. They make us feel like crap. They seem to be, epidemic is a huge word, but it does seem to be an epidemic that people are reacting to these foods. So we cut these foods out. So in the 4-week program, we are cutting these foods out, and we're testing to see how you react to them. And we are also diving into different things that could be causing problems: blood sugar issues, gut bacteria. It's sort of like a 4-week boot camp. The food you're eating is delicious. I didn't want you to feel deprived. So it's not a boot camp in that sense that you're starving yourself, that you're super deprived. It's delicious food. I've made it as easy as possible, utilizing leftovers, things like that. So this 4-week program is awesome. I love it. And then the membership actually started out, it was designed to help those people in the Mama Recharge Method going forward. It was meal plans going forward that were clean and simple, gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, and to provide monthly support, whether that is in challenges or focuses. So that's what you are getting. So $120 is our Black Friday special. You get an entire year in the membership. You get the Mama Recharge Method program, which our regular price for that is $197. So I have recently just added the Method. This is for yearly subscribers only. The Method to our yearly subscriber membership. And I was going to increase the price, but I thought this would be a perfect time for an awesome Black Friday special. So our membership is $24.99 a month. Our Method program is $197 regular price. So you can, if you join on now for the Black Friday, you can get a full 12 months in the membership. The Mama Recharge Method program, which we run in mid-January. I haven't figured out the dates yet. Mid-January, we run as a group. And then you get the whole year after that of support. So if you want to make a transformation in 2019, this is the perfect thing to get you started. We really jumpstart in January. I've got some other exciting things coming up. So you get access to everything right away. You'll get access to the Method program early December as well. You get access to the entire membership right away. But in the meantime, I've got some awesome resources, new resources coming to you in the membership. I've got a whole sort of mindset, vision board, dream board thing that's really fun. We did this last year. This is going to be in the membership this year. I've got that for like the start of January, so we can get everything, get you motivated, get you excited. Then we dive into the Method program, and then each month we've got different focuses. Every week you've got your new meal plan with your shopping list, with your daily prep guide. So I'm passionate about this. If you are wanting to make a change, if you're feeling like crap, maybe you are struggling to get that extra weight off, whatever that is for you, then this is so helpful. It's helped me in my journey. It's helped so many moms. I'll put the link in the description. I've got some moms that did the Method program last year, and you can see the changes that they had in this. A lot of them, some of the moms, actually quite a few of the moms are still in our membership today, so they continued on in the membership. So I'll put a couple links in there if you want to join on for the Black Friday special. It's starting right now. I'll post the link. I'll email that out. I know a lot of the emails go to junk mail, so you might miss that, so look there. But yeah, I'll be talking about that a little bit tomorrow, but make sure you don't miss it, because that's a huge deal. Price is increasing to $249, so it's $120 right now. After the Black Friday special, it's increasing to $249 for the yearly subscription. So jump on that deal. I think that's all I wanted to share. If you have any questions at all, I know it can be a big purchase, so you want to know that it's going to be right for you. Send me a message, ask me questions. If you're worried about spending that money on yourself, I like to, stuff like this, when it's for myself, I like to say, okay, this is going to be my Christmas present. I would rather have this transformation than a new pair of Lululemons, which is pretty much the same price, which seems crazy. So just wanted to let you guys know about that. I don't want you guys to be stuck feeling the same way. If you said at 2018, I want to make a change this year, and you didn't, I don't want you to be saying at next year at this time, I wish I made that change and didn't. So hopefully this helped. I enjoyed this chat today. It went kind of long. Hopefully it'll be 45 minutes to an hour the next few weeks. So every Thursday at 10, join me. It's been nice having you guys watch. Whether you're here live, thanks for watching, or watching the recording. Thanks, guys. Bye.